startled by it as I was. So I told her I won't choose to let it slide for a moment. I'm not going to be suspicious. I'm not going to be a dick about it. But in the end, if you are continuing to do it, this says everything about you and it says nothing about me. And I mean that both from a personal and a human perspective. It's nothing about us. You make your own choices. She maintains at least her phone number is well connected to her business and everything that isn't I did tell her that I'm not going to set this as an expectation because again, you have to make your own choices and this isn't going to work well if you're going to get to your policy. But I think at this point, if you have a block, then you should. That's exactly my point. I said, it will be, and if this were anyone else, I wouldn't have thought about it. The fact that your special friend also turned into a newborn affair means that at this point in time, it is not safe for us to be involved in any You know, the thing is, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But if it's not going to be and that's basically what I told her. I said, like, I have two options. I can trust you or not trust you. Either you're telling me the truth, and this was as much a surprise to you as it was to me, in which case I have nothing to hold against you, or you're lying to me, in which case that has everything to do with your integrity as a person and nothing to do with you, in which case my holding it against you wouldn't accomplish anything. As I said, I explained to her. I said, right now, look, you know what I have seen from where I'm sitting. You know what it looks like. So I have a choice of being trusted or not. I'm choosing to do so. But I'm also going to be honest about the fact that it makes myself a little suspicious. I don't know if I agree with that, and I don't know if she thinks it that way either, but I hear you. You and me both. Which is not going to be helped by this part of the conclusion, so I hope she takes it a lesson for us. In any case, shall we get angry about other things instead? Switch audio and start the stream, right?
If anyone needs me, I'll be in the Angry Dome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Angry Dome, live from my bedroom because our church building is currently being demolished. I am Pastor Don, and I'm joined, of course, by the ineffable, incalculable, impossible Courtney Fraley.
Hi? Hi. You keep getting more creative with the intros on me, and I don't know what to make.
I'm doing my best. I'm a man who likes to give compliments to people who are awesome, and you happen to be awesome, so I'm going to keep chucking them your way until I run out, which, well, considering that I have a lot of adjectives yet to work through, it might take a minute.
All right, so shall we dive right into the yellery?
Yeah, I got to be honest with those who watch our stuff from time to time, all like three of you. I had honestly thought that this week we were like, okay, things have stabilized in their typical hellishness, so I think it's about time for us to go back to doing some back to basics and stuff. And then Courtney, in typical Courtney fashion, drops this link on me, which will be the first one we look at here in a minute, which basically J.D. Vance reacts to a report that a U.S. official threatened the Vatican ambassador. Just like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I'm about to send you something that I have been waiting. I'll just save the image and drop it straight into your freaking Discord.
Oh, dear.
Because I really want to see your reaction to this in real time. The memes are fire. I'll say that. That's a fun thing about the 2020s is everything's on fire, but the memes are too.
Yeah, I'll grant that.
Everything's on fire. You just had to pay us enough to live.
Yeah. Which is not happening.
Luigi. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
This open. Oh God, yeah. Okay, so I've kind of got that on screen a little bit. That is not inaccurate. My lord,
that's a doctor, is what that is.
Indeed, that is. And you know what?
Melissa has been showing me memes all week. Has it been a week? Has it just been 2 days? I don't know. Nothing makes sense anymore. But yeah I've been being like, one of my name droppiest friends. Well, actually, not particularly well-known name to my knowledge, but I am longtime Facebook friends with a woman who is like an expert on domestic terrorism, like white supremacist domestic terrorism, effectively. She sends me the picture and is like, "Can't wait to hear what your can't wait to hear what your divinities friend has to say about this."
It's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and throw this right on the screen because the original, I'm going to put that in pretty big air quotes because AI bullshit. That's where I'm starting, and I'm actually putting that one right up on the screen here because it is both horrifying and hilarious in equal measure, which is something I never thought possible. Like, it is, and I'm going to go ahead and start with in the exact same place with this image, which, I mean, Courtney, you've seen it before. You know what I'm talking about, the image Trump posted.
There's a lot to unpack, so let's get started.
It's on the screen now right now for everybody, and I don't like cribbing my humor from other sources necessarily, but, I have to start in the same place that Colbert and Stewart and everyone else did, because why the fuck is he healing Jon Stewart?
Yeah, it does look like Jon Stewart.
Like, I absolutely lost it when
I'm looking at the one I sent you.
I absolutely lost it when Stewart just like stared at the image on screen for like a full minute straight, just looked at camera and goes, "Am I okay?" Like, because what gets me, and I was thinking about this before the broadcast too, is it's very clearly an AI generated image, right? Like, I mean, there's some other points in this image I'll talk to in a minute, but like, he had to say what he wanted. Like, you don't get that distinctive a face without at least nudging it in that direction. So there's like,
now, from what I've seen, I could be incorrect on this. A lot of my what is this internet bullshit knowledge comes like I shout out to like shout out to Moist Critical for educating my ass on that kind of shit. I think he was saying it might have been that it was posted originally like a while back by just one of his cronies that just just an internet troll,
Meme lords, yes.
But yeah, you still look at that and know what it is when you post it.
Yeah.
Like you knew.
Now, I have to admit though, like when I first saw the image, it wasn't until later that I noticed, like, oh my God, is that Jon Stewart? Because I was totally taken aback by another different, oh my God, is that who I think it is that's in this image? Can you guess?
You mean the part where it's Trump cosplaying Jesus?
No, I mean, obviously I expected that level of blasphemy from him, but directly above him, I look at the image and I'm like, oh my God, is that Baphomet?
Oh Jesus! See, I heard it was like I heard it was like I heard that it was a character from a video game. Is that true?
Not one I'm familiar with.
It does look like a demon of some kind.
I mean, like, yeah, but there's a lot of demons in like Dark Souls and shit that would still fit the bill for what the fucking from a Christian perspective. Like, you're already like by itself, depictions of demons and Jesus and shit like that aren't that big of a deal. They're not a blasphemy. Depicting yourself as Jesus with a demon directly over your head, like, yeah. I'm sorry. The fuck? Like, because like,
I thought it was a doctor. Have you ever seen a doctor before? Like,
yeah, I'm a little confused.
What kills me is the motherfuckers coming out of the woodwork now trying to be like, clearly our president is now under some sort of demonic possession. Like the call's not coming from inside the house. It's like, no, this is the dude that we've been screaming, yes, Orange Man bad for quite a while now.
Look, I've said this a million times before. I will say it again because it bears saying. The book of Revelation is, of course, not a literalist understanding of what the end of the world will look like. But for the love of God, like, the prediction of the Antichrist, he's doing all the things. The hell, people, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it would not be the first time that you and I have yelled on this podcast about just that exact thing. Just, sorry, words are failing me. The idiocy on display is a bit strong.
I'm gonna dig into that for half a second because I have been, as longtime viewers of this program and attendees of our Bible studies, and just anyone within shouting distance of me knows, I have long been a critic of the book of Revelation. One, because of how it's used in our pop culture as if it's some sort of literalist pre-writing of what the end of the world will look like, which isn't true. But I've also been critical. I've also been critical of it as actual prophecy, which, by the way, a reminder, prophecy in the biblical sense doesn't mean predicting the future. It means writing a vaguely futurist fuck around and find out rulers, this is what's going to happen if you come down the line. But a whole chunk of the Old Testament are prophets who are standing up to authority and saying, hey, continue fucking around in this way and your find out phase will look something like this. Not because I can predict the future, but because this is how cause and effect work in a world where the divine force of all good is pulling the other end of this arc you keep yanking in towards injustice. Now, I've always been critical of Revelation on that score because I'm like, look, it fails on that account too, because it criticized the Roman Empire. Rome didn't fall that way, and like, okay, like, I mean, yes, bad people get bad in end is a fair prediction.
That's sort of prophecy. It just,
right. Right.
So you can't tell the future, and I feel like to a certain extent, that's probably why it gets so convoluted. Is
right.
Like the prophet who wrote Revelation is attempting to like speak the truth about the future to power, but you're right. It doesn't pan out that way.
Mm-hmm. Like, and I'll tell you the same thing I tell my wife every time I take off my pants. There is, however, a big but.
Jesus Christ, Don.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Ugh.
But like, I have often been critical of Revelation on those grounds because I have believed that it fails at being prophecy, and the fact that it is too weirdly specific about too many things. And then this shit happens. Like, look, I grew up in a very conservative environment. I studied Revelation with the best of them and was all geeked out. I read all the Left Behind books, and I'm like, yay, we're going to be the ones victorious in the end. Everyone's going to die, and it's going to be like a fun movie. And then I realized, oh my God, that's actually horrifying. What the fuck? And learned.
Yeah.
But, like, I did actually study that whole thing, and the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, and I have to say, from the perspective of Christian theology, the term Antichrist is not referring to one person. It is an adjectival description for anyone who fits the bill, for anyone who is operating.
And here's the good news of Courtney Fraley. Congratulations, yes, by the actual definition of the word, Trump is an Antichrist.
Look,
he sells signed Bibles, for fuck's sake. Like,
yeah. No. He's been the actual definition of an Antichrist for a while. I think we've reached a point where even if we don't believe it, the definite article has to apply here.
It's really, but well, okay. Here's the thing. I feel like maybe it does at a certain point. It's tricky because we've got a lot of people doing a lot of damage in this country who genuinely read the Book of Revelation as if it was future telling prophecy about how the world is going to end. But I do feel like there's a lot of precedent because, like we talked about, okay, well, what is the devil? The devil is the same thing that the devil is when brought up in conversation typically today, a concept, an embodiment of an idea that humankind has had, like, and used, like, it's a very old meme. That's what the devil is. It is referenced in shorthand, like even from Christ himself, because like this is how you get a point across. You use metaphor. It's what we do. It's how language and human society works. Darmok Angelad at Tanagra. But
Trump and Baphomet in AI image.
I feel like we've gotten to the point where a lot of people, regardless of whether they believe it or not, know what the concept of the Antichrist as a fictional character is. Right. And the fact that Donald Trump is like speed running like some of the weirdest shit, the stuff that it's like, well, somebody, like I remember again, like back when I was, you know, kind of not quite aiming down the wrong path, the right path or the wrong path, just finding my way and stuff. And yeah, like I was into the Left Behind books and stuff like that too. But I remember some of the stuff that the Antichrist was supposed to do, and being like, okay, but you can't do that. Like, you can't just do that in public. Like, too many people will get mad. Like, that you won't have your power anymore.
And I had the inverse of it too, because I always. Yeah, I'm with you. I had the inverse of it because I always. I looked at the politics of the situation and I saw, like, your conservatives that would regularly try to call out some leader or another as being the Antichrist. A whole host of them that wanted to call out, you know, Pope Francis as being the Antichrist. And every time they did, like, they have their list of definitions of what makes someone the Antichrist. And you really had to squint to make any of them apply. And then we got this motherfucker. And like, you don't have to squint. You can take your glasses off, put your contacts away, and look at these being 3/4 of the way blind and still see it.
I mean, they tried to claim that Obama was, and they at least had like 3 or 4 good points. But it's like, okay, someone just being very charismatic and rising to power quickly and being a spectacular orator, those things alone do not make someone an Antichrist, okay?
Yeah. On the other hand...
bombing the fuck out of Libya, that might.
Yeah. On the other hand, starting wars within wars, literally declaring himself to be a religious figure and the next Jesus, like, that is the sort of shit that, like you said, you look at it, you're like, no one could actually do that. And here this motherfucker is.
Yeah.
And then we get to this shit.
Are we getting to the tweet from Iran yet?
Oh, I'm not even there yet. I'm going to the article you first sent me now, which I have some of it up on screen. It's from a Newsweek article. I have the relevant passage up on the screen now, which I'm going to read to you, which is kind of what started this whole back and forth with the Vatican off. It's a closed-door meeting between Vatican and Pentagon officials, which took place in January. U.S. officials were reported to have lectured the Catholic Church representatives, with one official reaching for a 14th century weapon and invoking the Avignon papacy, a period of time when the French monarchy used military force to bend the Bishop of Rome to its wishes. America has the military power to do whatever it wants in the world, Undersecretary of War for Policy Elbridge Colby and his colleagues told the Cardinal per the FP. The Catholic Church had better take its side. Vatican officials were reportedly so shocked that this caused a planned visit by the first American Pope to be canceled. I repeat.
Yeah, no, I was like, ooh, I get to drop something on you for a change.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. I had not heard that one. And we've got, like, dudes from the friggin' United States standing in the halls of the Vatican grabbing like a fucking trident off the wall and saying, Avignon papacy, bitch, fuck around and find out. And I'm just like, what in the unlimited hell is going on here? It blows my mind.
I'm just trying to imagine the faces of some of those guards in the they revised the Swiss Guard outfits though, didn't they?
Did they? I haven't seen.
Those ridiculous, like, they're circusy. There's no other word for them.
I mean, it's Da Vinci. Come on.
Guard outfits. I'm just trying to picture the faces on these guys as they're like, are we gonna have to kill a guy?
Yeah, like, I mean, the Swiss Guard, in their defense, the Swiss Guard are, in fact, the most highly trained military force as far as just general. Like, they're not just for show. Like, these guys, they're extremely highly trained.
They're like super serious.
They are super duper serious. Like they are.
Why do they make them dress like Ronald McDonald then?
Because Da Vinci designed the outfits, and it has classical legacy. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. That's super cool.
Yeah, that's why they look like that and have forever, is because the outfits were designed by Da Vinci, and nobody wants to say, all right, I can do better. Like nobody wants to do that.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's valid. That's cool as hell.
Yeah. Like, these guys are borderline super soldiers wearing a clown suit devised by Leonardo da Vinci himself, standing around a room where, like, the McDonald's presidency is grabbing pikes off the wall and saying, bend the knee to the Pope.
But they're all secret badasses dressed in the definition of the word flamboyant. Just that's a hoot. I did not know. I did not know that was Da Vinci. Oh, but what I had thought of was, please, if any of our listeners or their friends are looking for a really wonderful fucked up drag idea, I really need to see a drag queen based on the Swiss Guard. Please.
No, what you need is
or king. If somebody can pull off a drag king look dressed as a Swiss Guard, good, more power to you.
What you need, what you need is two people to pull off drag looks based on the Swiss Guard, and one person to pull off a drag look based on the Pope. That's what you need.
Where's Dalton Castle when you need him? Nobody listening to this podcast will get that joke. Damn it. It's a pro wrestling joke.
Yep, that is beyond me. I am, despite being a white male, I am not a pro wrestling type. All right, so
yeah. Well, speaking of pro wrestling, back to American politics, which some, like, I have to wonder if their opinions have changed, but some Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. Brain keeps getting away. I don't have my ADHD meds right now, so my brain keeps outpacing my ability to process what it's trying to do. That's what it feels like, by the way.
Yeah, I definitely know the feeling. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, I know the feeling.
Oh, that was what it was. Yeah, no, there have been some kind of like MAGA adjacent wrestlers who have said, you know, like, well, it's because he understand like about supporting Trump, being like, well, he understands that politics is professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And shit, it might have been Orton. I don't want to say that. I don't know for sure who, but
I mean,
like
to Trump's credit, he does understand that aspect of, I will say, Western politics, really.
it is. It's very true, at least of American politics. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen some knockdowns in the government in Britain and, you know, a couple other
Yeah,
places.
I'm just not going to pretend to understand someone else's government well enough to parody it.
Fair enough. Like, I'm with you there. It's more along the lines of, like, that's probably the most depressing thing about American governance is that it has become theater more than governance.
Yeah.
And has been for some time. And to Trump's credit, almost threw up in my mouth there. He does understand that aspect of it. But much like the dog who caught the car, he didn't know what to do with it once he succeeded at it, other than to enrich himself and fuck over everyone else, which is what he's been doing since forever. So let's go ahead. We've looked at this and our threats to the Avignon papacy. I want us to move forward a little bit into the back and forth that has happened since then, because it is, to me at least, mind-blowing. So the next article I have here, I'm just going to read the headline that's up on the screen here. I'm sure it's probably among many you've seen, Courtney. I do not fear Trump, says Pope Leo after U.S. president calls him weak.
Oh my God, I love Leo.
Yeah.
Bless him, God.
Yeah, leader of Catholic Church says he will continue to speak out against war after president's extraordinary criticism. Yeah. All right. Let's see. U.S. President issued a lengthy social media post to sharply criticize Leo while he flew from Florida to Washington Sunday night. Continued in comments on the tarmac to reporters, "I'm not a fan of Pope Leo." Trump made the comments after Leo suggested over the weekend that a delusion of omnipotence was fueling the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. Yeah,
Oh
Leo.
God. Hell yeah.
Like, I mean, like I've said it before. There is because of Pope Leo's background in North America, there is a extremely minuscule but non-zero chance that he may have heard of our little community. And so on the off chance that one of the two viewers who's watching our program is in fact the Pope, from a sibling in Protestantism, my dear friend, keep doing what you're doing, please.
Oh my God. The Pope Leo fandom is so strong right now. We're gonna seal the fucking Han Moon with another good another good sermon from him.
I mean, like the way he's going about things, like
I'm posting lines from his sermons and being like, I'm not super sure what he's talking about, but this is kind of fire. And I'm like, I do know what he's talking about. And yes, it is fucking fire.
I gotta stress, I am a Protestant pastor in the lineage of Martin Luther himself, and even I'm looking at this man's sermons thinking, wait, am I Catholic again? What the fuck?
No, I just think it's one of those they'll know we're Christians by our love.
Yeah.
One of my favorite modern hymns actually is that song, but
I would agree.
But yeah, it's just Martin Luther would have been on the Pope's side in this,
right? Like
zero question. It would have been okay. Let me put down the hammer and nails for a second. We got something to take care of first.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, a big part of the Reformation that happened in the first place was because the Pope at the time was kind of trumping it a bit.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of this shit happened in the first place, and the Reformation happened. Like, Jesus, Pope Leo, you want to heal schisms? Like, you're taking aim at the Reformation. Like, damn. I'm here for it.
That's kind of insane, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, in all honesty, I mean, if he were to actually pull something that crazy off, I'd be here for it.
Francis said heaven is for everyone.
Right. I believe his quote was, if there is a hell, I believe it's empty. At least I hope it is. Like, and that was from the Pope. Like,
yeah, no, it's almost like the most important takeaway from the Reformation was, if the Pope sucks, we shouldn't have to listen to him. But I feel like couched within that, it should be, if the Pope doesn't suck, there's nothing wrong with being on the same team.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm just like,
We got people out here following the Pope.
Yeah, some of the comments I've seen from conservative Catholics online over this past week have blown my mind too. Like, there's one who just captioned a picture of this by saying, "I am a Catholic. This is not my Pope." And it was on Threads, I think, where the auto fact checker just said, "If you are a Catholic and say this is not your Pope, you are a schismatic and not a Catholic." It's like, yeah, that's it. Like,
oh my God. The duck chasing somebody meme. If this isn't your Pope, who's your Pope then? Who's your Pope then?
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, I joked about this like at the beginning of this new series we just started, but like I've said before that Trump is basically the Pope of American evangelicalism. I think dude's about ready to declare, like, we're. If not the Antichrist, then we're definitely likely to get an anti-pope here sometime soon, the way this is going. Like, his approach. Well, we've had them before.
And here I thought religion was getting weird when it was like, wow, there sure are a lot of schisms lately. The number of times I've explained the Methodist schism to people, because it's not all that complicated. Just the Methodists were like, you know what? Gay people are cool. We're good with that. And then like half of them were like, the fuck we are. And that's what the global Methodist Church is.
Yeah. The same could be said for our own denomination, which went through largely the exact same thing a while ago and is fixing to do it again because a couple of people decided to stay back and fight the good fight at home and are getting their asses kicked, largely. But yeah, it's that the history behind this is local, more modern schisms is a little more convoluted, but basically the simplest way for me to explain it is that denominations were relatively solid and unchanging things for decades, centuries in North America, until the Republicans turned evangelicalism into a political arm, at which point it became like the Republicans effectively created evangelicalism by gathering like your Billy Grahams and your the Focus on the Family guy and all those guys together in a room.
Oh, James Dobson.
Yeah, Dobson and all those motherfuckers all together in a room. Kenneth Copeland, the whole bunch of them into a room, and gave them the same offer that the tempter offered to Jesus of all of this in the world will be given to you if you bow down and give me what I want. And they all said, yes, Daddy. And then
For the record, Dobson really pisses me off because in addition to being like a piece of shit, he was also like sometimes a good preacher when preaching on topics that at least at that point didn't have some kind of weird fucked up version of them and were like actual Christian values. Yeah, no.
Yeah. But in the end,
it sucks ass.
In the end, the deal was simple.
Well, how can a guy who...
Yeah, in the end, the deal was simple. You will get power and reach and platform from us. We will tell the entire world that you are Orthodox Christianity. And in exchange, you tell all your followers that they can't be a Christian and vote Democrat. They have to vote Republican to be a Christian. And they did. And the end result is it created this massive thing we now know as evangelicalism, which became a cultural political force as much, if not more, than it was a religious force. It claimed to be disassociated from anything. as I often tell people, I say they started by calling themselves non-denominational, and I always tell people, say, if you want to really go to a non-denominational church, make sure you bring your non-denominational money and see how well they take that. You know, so that all happens, but it seeps back into the culture, and then to finally get back to the point I was making, it leaks through the culture back into the church. So that's where all these schisms are coming from. Is like historically, these have been tiny non-issues almost for the church. I'm not going to say the church in general or any denomination has had a stellar record on LGBTQIA rights or treatment of women or minorities. No, I would not make that claim. That would be historically inaccurate. But the goal of the churches, most of them at least, has been progression, to move in a direction of kinder, gentler, more godly Christianity. And sometimes it takes us a while to realize that, but that's been the goal. With the advent of evangelicalism, the tenor shifted to fuck everybody else. And that's when these schisms started happening. These minor issues became flashpoints, things that even those who disagreed with anything regarding the LGBTQIA community, whatever their theological positions, 9 out of 10 times, it wouldn't even be an issue that would come up in discussion, even if there was a gay person in the church. They'd be just like, "Oh, that's weird, not my way, but whatever."
I think what it basically boils down to is they managed to isolate
Yes.
a lot of things that make people who are not familiar with them uncomfortable. And then, find a way to to claim that the Bible says your opinion on these things, and that these things are in fact bad and wrong, and you're right to be instinctively scared of them.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason.
And just it's playing off people's fears in a way that's so predatory and so just vile.
And that's the difficult thing, is because the Bible and religion can be used in that way. Like, you can deliberately misinterpret things and claim the authority of the Bible as your own, and people will sometimes believe you. It's why we have, for example, generally educated clergy, so we can tell the difference between someone who knows the fuck he's talking about and someone who's just saying, "Oh yeah, the Bible says abortion is always murdering babies, so we have to murder anyone who tries to do that." Like, it ain't a thing. And I'm going to follow this up with the next news article that I have here from Reuters from just 2 days ago. Pope Leo issues warning on democracy after Trump criticism.
We got
so
he wanted an American pope and a finger on the monkey's paw curl.
Yeah. So this is I love this. I love this because not only is this like the finger on the monkey's paw curl, but this is still continuing over Pope Leo's response to the whole "I'm gonna stab you with a trident, Pope bitch" that he encountered earlier on, because he canceled his trip to the United States. Effectively,
hasn't he been visiting mosques?
Yes. On his way through an ambitious 10-day tour of 4 African countries. Like he's like, "Fuck this, I'm going to the global south. See you later, bitch."
Yeah, no, I saw him. I saw pictures of him with a story attached in the 3rd largest mosque in the world in Algeria.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And just, the look of the expression of just peaceful, spiritual co-presence between him and I don't know if it was the imam or what, walking together through this beautiful place barefoot to be respectful, and it's just fucking cool. And it's like, I've got all these people why is the Pope so based? And it's because he's following the teachings of Jesus.
Yeah, the Pope is the Pope's fucking based because Jesus was fucking based. I mean,
yes.
I have to give the credit to the Catholic Church on this issue. We may disagree on a number of subjects. I may find them far too conservative on social issues in general. I may find them tiresome at times and too high church for my taste some of the time. But
it's cool, don't pretend.
I said some of the time. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes a real good heavy mass with a big blaring organ is exactly what you need. Anyway, my point is after Benedict, the Catholic Church realized, in a broad sense, that we kind of lost the plot, and we need to reset. We need to go back to the teachings of Jesus, and we need to start looking to those leaders who've been doing this the whole time. That's where Francis came from. Is they picked somebody who who'd been walking the walk his entire career. Like Francis was down in the global south doing the thing.
Ministry serving the poor, right?
Yeah. I mean, guy drove a beater everywhere he goes. I really cannot recommend enough that movie. I think it was The Two Popes, the one that's got what's his name? Blanking on his name, the really famous actor who recently died. Anyway, it's basically the dialogues between Pope Francis and Pope Benedict leading up to Benedict's resignation, and how the two of them, despite being so very different, became in effect friends. And Benedict's decision that they needed a reformer and why he stepped, all of that, and just the look at Francis in those last moments where he first stepped out to become Pope, is that when they're trying to bring out all the gold and the red and the fancy, and he just puts them aside and says, "No, just give me a simple white cassock. It's all I need. I am the servant of the people. I am not their king." And that was the direction he started with, and the direction that Leo seems to be following as well, because Leo seems to be doing much of the same stuff.
Yeah, no, I was so stoked because it was like losing Francis was just like, oh no, he was so cool. Oh.
Damn it, JD.
And then some of my friends refer to JD as the shit Midas. Everything he touches turns to shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not gonna disagree with you on that score, but yeah, no. Again, props where it's due. The Catholic Church has done exactly what the Catholic Church often does, but on a much larger arc of history than we're used to. It righted itself, or started to anyway. And my biggest fear with Leo's election, with the conclave after Francis, was that they were going to do exactly what the United States did after Obama and have a huge conservative pushback. Yeah. And the conclave got together and said, "No, man, this is the way to go. We're not doing it based on politics or our own fears. We're doing it based on the teachings of Jesus Christ." And that's where good old Papa Frank was, and that's where we're going. And
hell yeah.
That brings me...
And we got ourselves an American Pope.
Mm-hmm.
In 2026, in this political climate. Like...
Honestly, as someone who lives...
He's genuine.
As someone who lives as a religious leader who is American in a non-American environment, who effectively can't go home because of all of this bullshit, having an American Pope really does console me a little bit, knowing that I'm not the only one out there who's going through this. Granted, I'm hesitant to compare myself to the Pope in that way. I don't have nearly the authority or dress sense, but, in the end...
You're not making that comparison, though. You're simply making a simple comparison.
Yeah. Like I get it, and this brings me to an experience that I, as a Protestant pastor who tends to be a little more kind of in conversation with people than your average Catholic priest and or Pope, I encounter this all the time. So it's also kind of heartening to see Pope Leo encounter this, although I'm sure he has in his career as well. This article from the New York Times, which I actually went out of the way to make a throwaway email account just so I could access it behind the damn paywall, just so that we could look at this one. I will read the headline for you now, because it fills me with the giggles. Vance says the Pope should be more careful when talking about theology. The vice president, who is Catholic, took issue with Pope Leo XIV's statement that disciples of Christ are never on the side of those who once wielded the sword and today drop bombs. I didn't even get through it without laughing. J.D. Vance, a Catholic, publicly...
Why do you keep trying to Christ-splain to the Pope?
Yeah, look, one of my earliest memories of debate or argument was with the jackass who pastored the church I had growing up, who was an evangelical masquerading as a Presbyterian, pretending to be a Reformed pastor. Whole different thing there. But he would do this thing where he would drop like the most bullshit rationales for something and then just walk away like he'd won the argument, even if it like the one that jumps right to mind is an argument I was having with the guy who was on this big kick that all video games are evil and tools of the devil and encourage violence in young people. And I was sitting there like, man, I am a
like all of them. Really?
I'm looking at the guy. I thought I was like, man, I am a fat outcast who has nothing else to do with his free time, and I play video games 12 to 14 hours a day unless I have to actually go to school. And so you're saying they cause violence. I ain't hit anybody yet, although it kind of feels a little tempting at the moment. So how do you justify your argument? And he does this thing where he's like, throughout history, people have gotten into fights the way that they saw on TV, and now we have Street Fighter, and they do kicks like they do in Street Fighter, and he whipped a kick at my head. Stopped just short as I took a... Yeah, he stopped just short as I took a step back, and he goes, see, that's how it is, and just walked away. And I'm just like, first off, this man's never played a video game in his aged life, doesn't know what the fuck they're about, and is trying to gamesplain them to me, someone who I'll admit is younger, but I played more video games today than he had in his life. But, like, how do you argue with someone who is so convinced of their own rightness, even in the face of someone who obviously knows differently? And as I've gotten into ministry, I cannot tell you how many times I've had arguments with people online and in person who said, well, the book of Revelation says, I'm like, where? No, it doesn't. The Bible says that we have to string out the LGBTQ by their testicles, even if they don't have them, and beat them to death with stones because they're an abomination. Where did you get that? Show me the verse.
No, it doesn't.
Well, the Bible says where? The Bible says God helps those who help themselves. Oh, what chapter? What book? Because it doesn't. And the screaming arguments. What do you know, you educated person? Like, yeah,
educated on the Bible.
Did you fucking forget what education was? Like, yeah, I'm sitting here with a bachelor's degree, 2 masters, and a doctorate, and you're sitting there with, you know, Jim Bob's roadside car service and GED prep course, and like, the fuck? Like, I understand. I understand having strong feelings about a thing. I do. I mean, I'm a religious leader. I get it. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't argue Catholicism with the Pope. Like, I have my own opinions on theology of, say, LGBTQIA inclusivity, the ordination of women, and things like that, and I'd be happy to debate with him from my own perspective. But I wouldn't turn to the Pope and say, you're wrong about what the Catholic Church believes, or you're wrong about what it says in the Bible, because I'm pretty sure he probably knows as well, if not probably better than I do.
Yeah.
Like, not even withstand.
It bothers me so much that we've gotten to this point where, you know, calling someone educated on a subject isn't, ceding ground to them and saying, you know more about this than I do. Like,
it's the whole anti-intellectualism in the United States for the past 50 years or so. That part of that whole evangelical push has been to demonize education as a tool of indoctrination and not as, learning shit, which is the result of that push for half a century to demonize the concept of education as some sort of classist bullshit results in people like Vance who get up into these places and feel they have the right to assert their dumbass opinion against people who actually know what they're talking about, and feel that their opinion should carry that same weight. And of course it doesn't. Like, even as a Catholic, J.D. Vance's statements with respect to Catholic theology do not carry equal or more weight to that of the goddamn Pope.
Well, and how long has Vance been a Catholic now?
As far as I'm aware, not too terribly long. If he converted to, appease his wife. Like, I mean, you went Jesus for pussy, I can respect it, but come on, man. That doesn't give you that level of power or authority.
No, it's mental. It's just absolutely insane to me.
It is. It's irrational.
You educated. Yeah, educated on this, on the topic of discussion.
Yeah. But it's the evolution of white boy confidence here, like an uneducated white man standing in the public sphere, feeling that the simple presence of an opinion gives him authority, and that is bullshit. And I say this as a white man who has spent most of my life gaining the education to be able to speak from that authority without just simply claiming that spot. Not that I ever really shut up when I was younger. It was a problem. I got over it. But, you know, the way you get over that is either you shut up or you learn, and this man has done neither.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to scroll down here because I want to highlight the actual things that Vance said here. Because it's
JD
insane.
Vance is an asswipe.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to get immature with it, you know, like it's fucking frustrating.
Look, I am very, very careful to avoid the collateral damage of insult necessarily as a tool for proclamation. Like as you know, Courtney, and as others who've
Not
watched
harmless
me.
though. I'm not like insulting other asswipes. You know,
like
the asswipe community isn't going to come at me.
Let me finish. Like, I have been very big about that. So, for example, you find me rarely, if ever, commenting on, say, Trump's weight or physical appearance, or the fact that J.D. Vance looks like the couch fucker he most definitely is. Like, those aspects I will rarely ever approach. But at the same time, I've long strayed away from insult as a tool. But as you know, like I said, and as people who've listened to me rant a lot lately know, I have just recently finished my doctorate specifically in transformational preaching. And if there's one thing I've learned in this process and I'm not joking about this, fusing the oratorial styles of Stewart, Colbert, Oliver, Trevor Noah with that of Mr. Rogers to come up with a new preaching methodology, it's that taking shots at somebody in this kind of position isn't the universal negative we all have kind of generally thought it was. Like, we need to be able to take shots at people who are taking shots at other people. We need to be able to punch up as comedy does. Now, as Christians, we have a narrower mandate than comedians. Like, your average comedian, they really just have to worry about punching up, but they can hit whatever they want. We have to be much more surgical. So that's like why, for example, I won't punch up at Trump's weight because, well, being a also heavy person myself, that hits me, but it also hits a whole bunch of other people too. I won't make fun of his intelligence or his obvious dementia or things like that because those are things that are beyond his control. Those are things that are connected to other people who do not share his horribleness. So we do have a narrower mandate there. But at the same time, insult is in fact a tool. It is the blunt arm of sharpened criticism, and it does need to be employed with these people, and it needs to be employed loudly from our pulpits. These people need to not simply be discredited intellectually, but they need to be discredited personally, because I'm not one to say that there is such a thing as an irreparably bad person. But there are people who have become bad people and need to, what's the Christian word now? Repent, turn course, turn away, and stop being an asshole. Like, you know, you ever seen the movie Liar, Liar, Jim Carrey from back in the day?
Yes.
Like, every time I see an article about Vance or Trump, I'm just Jim Carrey from Liar, Liar. Stop breaking the law, asshole! That's it.
It's
like,
right.
So
this is right.
You know, consider that the permission from me that, like, yeah, okay, we need to be taking shots at these people. Like J.D. Vance, we need to be making fun of him. Like, what he's saying is objectively worthy of mockery. Very little in my perception about a person is ever worthy of mockery. But people like Vance, at this point in time, have risen to a level of cruelty and inhumanity. Like, yeah, it's worthy of mockery. In the same way that I have been known to mock the fashion choices of Adolf Hitler. Motherfucker hired fucking Hugo Boss to do all his uniforms, and he's walking around in short shorts and lederhosen like the gayest dwarf. Like, come on. Dude, you had all of it right there. You could have done so much better. So
Your FS guys are going to look so good, it's going to make every leftist with a passion for fashion angry for the next 100 years.
yeah, I mean, like, side note, like, why don't leftists look as cool as right?
Get your suits tailored, you dumb piece of shit. Get your suits tailored. You're a
Yeah,
rich man.
Look, I'm sorry. I used to work in suits when I was in my younger
I
years.
forgot about that. You totally did.
I totally did, and a decent place too. I learned about the tailoring. I learned about how stuff's put together, how it's all fit. Like, I didn't just like stand out there and sling shit. I actually learned about it. I'm by no means an expert in that kind of tailoring myself, but I know enough about it. And I gotta say, like, these guys dress poorly. I mean, look,
Well,
I'm poor as I'm poor as shit. Like, I can't afford good clothes like they can. So like, I have an excuse myself because I'm a poor teacher / pastor who gets his suits from the secondhand store and tailors them if and when he can figure out how to do it. These guys are rolling in the dough and are showing up in what is basically garbage bag chic. Like, I'm sorry, like, JD Vance rolls onto the scene and you can't tell the difference between him and the couch he just slept with. It's impossible.
It's great to a good target for mockery, I find, is something that does not deal splash damage. Like,
Right.
the only other people offended out there are anyone else who fucks couches, and it's like, that's between you and your lazy boy. And, like, hopefully people don't generally know and be like, that's true about him too. Like,
It's also worth noting that the criticism leveled against Vance is not leveled strictly against his shall we say, sophosexual predilections, but more about the fact that he, one, denied it so heavily that it was very obvious that it was true, and two, is a practicing sophosexual who's also complicit in genocide and attacking the Catholic Church and all this other shit. Like, you are receiving splash damage from this if and only if you possess both of those factors, and that limits it to one couch fucking person.
yeah. Hey, he has my sympathy. It must be rough having an upholstery fetish. But and I'm sure when those springs break, it's just a nightmare. But yeah, back to things that
Okay, that mental image that like the eye in the Jeremy Bearimy that broke me. That hurts.
You remember when you remember when he told Zelensky to say thank you?
God. Feels like it was 15 years ago, but yes.
Yeah, it was probably like, I don't know. Time and space, space is warped and time is bendable.
Everything's falling apart. But you know what?
Are we running out of time?
We are. I'm going to leave this last one.
We still didn't get to the Iran tweets.
I'm going to leave this last one up here on the screen for a minute while you mention the Iran tweets to which you are referring, which is just an image of Vance being heckled at Turning Point USA as he chides the Pope. It's from the BBC. I'm not going to play the video because I don't have it set up to do that, but it's just an image of Vance with his finger up, like responding to hecklers at Turning Point USA over his treatment of the Pope. So a little bit of hope. So you had these Iran tweets, and again, I'm not up on everything, so I'm not necessarily sure which ones you're referring to. So do you want to say a little about that first before we finish up?
I am trying to find. I don't have Google Foo anymore. It sucks. Part of it is that Google sucks. I think part of it is just that I'm getting old. But it was something.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
It was something along the lines of an official Iran Twitter saying something along the lines of, Jesus is a respected prophet in our religion as well, And, you know, Pope Leo is speaking completely in line with that prophet's devotion to peace, and just like just basically pipes up and like sides with the Pope. It's like, sorry, poor Pope, Trump shouldn't have talked about you like that. And it's just like, it's just such a sign of the weirdest fucking timeline. Is this real life? Am I in a coma? Is that what's happening right now? Am I the only one who thinks that when I just at some point during the day, at least once a week, like, oh, this can't be real. I must be in a hospital bed somewhere.
I'm looking.
None of this can be happening.
I'm looking for a copy of one of the tweets that has been mentioned repeatedly, and I'm trying to find it. But you've got my attention with
Give
this
this
one.
another shot. Let's see.
There's got to be a comment. Where is it? No, that's not it. Yeah, I apologize for the boring dead air here for a minute. I'm trying to find this post here.
Okay, damn it, Newsweek, just show me the fucking tweet.
All right, I'm seeing part of it, and so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can bring this one up. Oops, this one. Yeah, got it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch this one onto the screen.
I found it now too.
So this is weirdly spaced on the screen, I will admit. Apologies to everyone. Open it a little bit here. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to read the one that I found. We'll see if we found the same tweets. I'm not sure if we were looking for the same one.
All right, let's hear it.
I've got Trump's Easter Sunday tweet. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There'll be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah!
That was utterly unhinged, but no, I did find it's a tweet from the I don't even know what they're supposed to call them now, but from the president of Iran.
Okay.
It says, His Holiness Pope Leo the 14th, at Pontifex, I condemn the insult to your excellency on behalf of the great nation of Iran and declare that the desecration of Jesus, the prophet of peace and brotherhood, is not acceptable to any free person. I wish you glory by Allah. And I'm like, what is going on? Just, what?
Like, the man managed to piss off the Catholics, the Muslims, the Protestants, all of the Jews, but I don't think he cared about that to begin with. He managed to piss off all of the legitimate Protestants, and now with this straight up blasphemy of the image, which is where we started, I think he's losing a lot of the evangelicals too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I hope
it's going to be hard to be nice if they all just wake up one day and are like, wow, this guy's psycho. Let's get him out of there. Yeah, I'm glad we were all on the same team. Like, I'm going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
We're going to... I pray that happens and that we then can have some freaking sermons about how to not strangle these people.
I've said it before, and I will say it again. Well, forgiveness and reconciliation is a Christian requisite. Those who voted for Trump have to repent first. You can't just say, oh, I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm going to go in a different direction now. Like, that did some damage. And that needs to be made up for. So if you have been a Trump supporter and you're thinking of switching sides, please do. Get yourself on the right side of history. But then be active in trying to undo some of what you did. Like, get out there, rock the vote for the other side or something. I mean, I've said this from well, a lot longer than just now. For myself, politically, I'm on team whoever is bringing up the previous administration on all of the charges and sending Trump to the goddamn Hague.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
if that's your platform, you got my vote.
And with that, I think we are at time.
Yeah, a little over perhaps, but I think we've kind of covered.
I'm sure there's stuff we didn't touch on. It's just that the news cycle moves at, like warp 8.
Breakneck pace, yeah.
So.
Like the news cycle moves so fast we're at risk of turning into salamanders.
All of us is fish.
Did you get the deep Star Trek cut? Please tell me you did.
Yes, I did.
Good,
yes,
good,
I did. It just wasn't a good episode, so we're moving.
It was a terrible episode, but it's still worth joke fodder. I'll grant that.
Funny joke.
Although I will say,
you and your what if the Pope watches Back to Basics, or what if the Pope watches The Angry Dome, is just the smallest, most like niche version of what if Obama watches Game Grumps, and I think of it every time you bring it up.
I will say, having mentioned it, I will say in defense of Threshold, Robert Duncan McNeil's acting in that episode is insanely good. Anyway, credit where it's due. Even in the worst of times, we can find some small ray of hope, even if the person acting like a lunatic is just acting very, very well. So that said, I think we've come to the end of our time. A couple of general housekeeping announcements for those few of you who may have followed thus far. As you all know, one, we are a church, and two, for the next couple of months, we are without a physical church facility, which means we are doing crazy-ass experimental worship services for the next little while. This week's worship will be held in the critically acclaimed massively multiplayer online role-playing game Final Fantasy XIV. Why? Because we fucking can. With the help of one of our congregants, as well as one of my own lovely children, we have purchased a small house in the Shidohanedai Ward. The exact address is, believe it or not, on our website already. And if you want to get into the game and come join us there.
This is so dumb.
Hey, if you're going to do something dumb, do it full force. Like, we've got the time. We're what, 3 months away from when the new building is going to be open again. So, like, why not try some shit? For those of you who are watching, I will say there is a free-to-play version of the game, so you don't have to spend money to come to church. And if you don't feel like gaming, I'm going to live stream the whole fucking thing anyway. So, like, just tune in normally, you'll be fine. But if we can get some people to populate the house and just be like, doing crazy emotes and shit while I'm trying to preach, it'd be funny.
If this goes well, I'm hosting church on my Animal Crossing island.
That'll be a fun one.
Probably a slumber island. I don't want to turn the whole island into a freaking church, but I will absolutely make a Jesus island. I'm good with that.
I'm going to have to learn how to play Animal Crossing, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
In the meantime, anyone else still following along, we got a lot of other stuff going on. Our every other weekly Bible study this time next week. The Angry Dome continues to exist despite all expectations. Back to Basics will return one day when sanity does. And in the meantime, have a good week. Keep an eye on our email system. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the coming weeks. We're going to be reconfiguring the Discord server to do some very interesting things, kind of rearranging all of our channels and making things a little bit different, but a little bit better. We're going to be sending out more emails, our updated worship. All this stuff is going to be coming out here soon. So follow us on our various channels as we try to kind of get stuff together. And if you have a spare moment, Courtney does have a request to make of you.
Like, share, and subscribe. And drop a comment if you want me to go ahead and start a channel and start putting out content as well, because again, being a loudmouth is the gift that God gave me, and I just need to use it to whatever extent I can to try and bring eyeballs to this message.
Yeah. Or you can just make content for this channel. Like, I don't be the only one out here.
Yeah, true enough.
All right, y'all. Take care, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Right. Bye.